where they had the under-19s or whatever.
Yeah.
These were players that actually were doing really, really well. So we had the talent, and I don't understand necessarily what our policy has been, in the background, because there were players there I thought would have made the grade and would be quite exciting, and players that we could have chucked in a no-win, sort of no-lose situation that we're in at the moment.
Yeah, very true.
We've got to respect the decision of people that are seeing these players and dealing with them all the time. We would see very little of these players, and nobody's going to throw players away just for the hell of it and go, no, we don't want you around. Yeah, you're a prospect, but we don't want you. There's always something behind it. So really, so often I just think, well, there's someone that knows better, that is dealing with the time.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think
surely knows what they're doing. So, we got to respect that, surely.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you would think that certainly with the young players, their development is key to their development for the long term. Jack Roll's going to Cambridge, and I know someone that's a Cambridge fan, and he was when he went there, he was like, what do you know about him? Like as you say, I know very little about him. I've seen him in a few games, but a few weeks later, like this guy's come back to me. He's gone, fucking hell! Why have you let him go? This guy's a magician. You know what I mean? But he's young, and it gives him an opportunity to to develop.
Very important.
Go through the school of hard knocks and come through. But I guess, I mean, as I say, Fernandez is the key one at the moment, where every time he performs, and he has been performing well. Every time he performs, we get a whole raft of, this is Levy. Why did we go for Ndombele when we could have gone for Fernandez? Well, I was excited by Ndombele. Everyone was excited by the fact we'd signed this guy.
Of course.
It's just this is just a hindsight opinion as usual.
We could have had Dennis Bergkamp, for crying out loud. There's loads of those. Decca could have signed the Beatles. It's just one of those things that happens.
But also, I mean, again, go back to the kind of the structural point. With Jose coming in, I guess that our recruitment strategy and our academy strategy has all changed, because it would have all been set up around what Maurizio would have wanted, and now that's different. We've seen that. I know that the head of recruitment was going anyway, but Ian McDermott from the academy has gone. So, it's one of those things which goes back to, I suppose, a little bit of the original point. You can't expect things to change in 6 months. You're going to have to give it much more time for things to filter through, and for let the whatever the strategy is to play out, because it can't be something that gets delivered in 6 months. I don't think that's possible. I don't know. Again, it's that's just my view, just because I think you have to be slightly medium term about these things.
Yeah, 100%. And it'd be good. It'd be good to for people to take their view. I don't look at Twitter so much no more. I used to be on it quite a lot. Unfortunately, work-wise, I'm really busy now, so I can use that as a reason not to look at Twitter. But it's so depressing, people's opinions on football and just how they want to moan about everything. And you have a few good bastions out there that are trying to just prepare to sort of argue back and try and stay positive. But hey.
World's biggest soapbox corner.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So there's been loads of games. We obviously we focus on Spurs and everything, but there's been absolutely loads of games. Has anyone OF'd yet, over footballed? I mean, I haven't watched a match of the day since we've come back. I've not managed to watch, or not felt the inclination to watch a match of the day at night. Has anyone else?
I've actually found that, because at the start of the Project Restart, I was a bit against it. But I've kind of grown into it, just being fickle and, having no principles whatsoever. But I've been okay with that, actually. I haven't watched things like Match of the Day. I don't generally watch the pre-match stuff on Sky or the post-match. I just want to watch the game. So, it's been quite interesting. I think some of the games have been a bit boring, but I think I'm just waiting for the new season, to be fair.
Are you crowd or no crowd noise? What do you go for?
That's an interesting question.
I would say Andy was definitely no crowd.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Exactly. Yeah. I am.
I'd say Steve and Simon are going crowd. That's what I'm guessing.
No, not at all.
Really?
I mean, I look at it from I try to look at it from a coaching perspective and listen to what the communication and everything that there is going on the pitch.
I just listen out for the swear words. That's the only reason I'm listening now.
It does frustrate me when you have the commentator every 2 seconds going like, apologies if you've heard.
I never hear them. They apologise and I never hear them. I have to rewind it to try and find it, and then I miss a goal.
What did I miss? Exactly. What did I miss? I look at that to try and then relay that back to so that I can use that and relay that back to my team.
Sure.
In terms of how important communication is and at the top level,
I'll tell you one which you will find interesting, and this is a friend of mine who's at Spurs, and he was at the game, so he's there for all the home games. So I said, so how is it? And what did you notice? He said, firstly, Eric Dyer does not stop. He said, I was so impressed by Dyer. It was all the way he was working like a captain. He was the most vocal out of all of them, saying, get back, do this, never stop. He said the other thing was Hugo, which he's actually multilingual during the game. So he will shout out to the French players in French, shouting out to the English, which I tell you what, takes a bit of doing. Yeah, and it's those little things that I never noticed. And I found that really interesting. He said, Harry, very different sort of leads by extent, shouts when he needs to, but not quite as vocal as Eric is. So that I found really interesting.
Could that not be part of the problem?
What?
That he's talking in different languages to different people.
He's using the wrong language for the wrong player.
Surely, this is
the Argentinians are like, what?
Yeah, but wasn't this one of the big things? When Pochettino was brought in, there was an insistence on him having to speak English, and then I think he also conveyed that to my understanding. I don't know, like Paul, you probably know more than me, but my understanding was that he was therefore wanting everyone to speak in English as well, so that they were all on the same page.
When you're in a game, and it's quick, and it's one thing being in a conversation and sort of in a different language, but if it's quick, it's like a split second, to do it in your own language, especially with Hugo going out.
If it's a defensive decision or if it's an attacking decision, and he might be saying that to someone in Spanish.
Esperanto is what he was using, Steve.
Esperanto. but you can't then, you won't then expect, you won't necessarily expect someone who only speaks French to understand what's going on to then react to that. You won't expect someone that's speaking English or only understands English to then go, okay, he's told him to do that, which means that actually I might get the ball there, or I might need to drop in here, or whatever. So unless I just think.
Oh, you're nitpicking
where you're coming from.
You are nitpicking. Listen to you.
They haven't just rolled up to
rolling the ball out.
Park. Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of French. There you go. He's not talking to the whole team.
LA means the same thing. Go.
Can you leave your coach badge just away for 5 minutes for crying out loud?
I can go LA.
I thought it was a good thing.
Well, interestingly, I mean, I have listened to it with both. I've done it with the crowd noise on because it's quite nice. You're just enjoying it all, and also what would be without as well, because you can hear what's going on the pitch. It'd be actually quite nice if you could turn the commentators off. Because they just get really irritating. Yeah. And actually, I just watch the thing in bloody silence or just with some white noise. Can we just do that, please?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. I would say.
Can I just say I enjoyed the crowd particularly? Sorry, Andy. I enjoyed the crowd particularly because there was a huge roar when we scored against Sheffield United. So that was the fake crowd noise I actually enjoyed. That one. So there, I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry, Andy.
No, FIFA, the FIFA button guy was getting ahead of himself.
Just after they've scored, a cup-winning goal, hit that one.
I have listened to the crowd, but the Sky one just sounds like white noise to me. Just sounds like tinnitus, whereas the BT Sport one actually sounds a bit more cultured for some reason.
You are a connoisseur of fake crowd.
A bit more cultured.
That's really impressive.
What is culture? How is crowd noise cultured? This is what
have you sat
and here is popcorn and
we need to explore this a bit more.
It's like gloved applause that you would get, like, you know,
Yes.
Slightly muffled applause.
I think
who's the gentleman with bad sight in the black?
Say that again, Simon. Sorry.
I said, who's a gentleman with the bad eyesight in the black?
No, that'd be
Is that
me.
what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it's like. That's what it's like in the
televisual experience.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hey, Simon, I got your joke and I liked it.
Thank you very much, Paul.
I liked it. They'll get it later, don't you worry.
Internet delays.
5 minutes time, we'll just start laughing, and you'll wonder why.
See, that's when you say cultured. No, non-cultured.
Exactly. They don't get it.
They didn't get the cultured gag.
They needed a VAR review of the joke.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. 30
I
minutes
don't know what
later, you'll get.
Is that
Get it now.
had to decide if it was funny or not?
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh God.
Anyway, okay. So, Paul, last time we had you on. I think last time we had you on was just before Mourinho came in. So I think.
God, was it that long ago?
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was the week. It was
6 or 7 years now.
Yeah. It certainly feels like that, doesn't it? So,
this was a new T-shirt then. Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, we've had a lockdown. So how's lockdown been for you? You've been working. So what else have you been up to?
Well, you know what? It's been tricky. So obviously I've kept the radio show going, so that's been good, and I've been going in and doing that. So there's only so many times you can interview a world stone skimming champion when there's no live sport. So I've gone through that. The world Scrabble champion. I've had, goodness knows, I had Jurgen Klinsmann on, which was great. So we had Jurgen come on a couple of weeks ago, so that was really interesting. So a lot of, always, loads of ex-Spurs players. And the thing is, though, I still haven't been found out and told why is it so biased in this direction. But how many famous footballers do you know? Well, quite a few. I know Rangers, Graham Roberts. I know Mark Falco from Queen's Park Rangers. So Darren Henderson of Portsmouth. So there's been a fair bit of that. So that's good. As far as football, I've really missed it. Also, it's been really weird for me because I missed the first home game I missed in a long time was when I was away when we played Leipzig. So I was away for that. And that was one of those, it was those holiday booked and is it going to be at home? Are we going to be away? So I missed it. And that was tricky to watch when I was away. Yeah. But it's the first Premier League game or league game it must be 10, 15 years that I've missed. And it was really strange to watch. And then watching the Spurs TV, and I'm seeing someone there. I'm thinking, is this guy? But, he's far too young.
But Paul, at half-time in your house, do you get your family around and then do a half-time show for
the weird thing, Simon, is that I did tweet that, and I tweeted that after it was the Manchester United game, said, I'm going to interview my son outside their house at half-time. And then I got all these people going, why don't you do it?
Brilliant.
Why don't you do it? Brilliant. So I said to him, look, let's do it. I'll put my suit on. We'll go out there. And he's going, no, Dad, please don't make me do it.
Brilliant.
So then I thought about maybe doing it. And then I thought, I suppose I could do. So we'll see. Maybe ask
a bit of fun.
I'll get an old player and do it in the garden and see how it goes. Yeah.
That'd be amazing. That'd be a brilliant bit of fun. Bit of fun.
Yeah,
okay.
But have you been hiding in your loft doing that's because that's where you are at the moment?
Yep.
Sort of doing everything you can, trying to just kind of just keep it motoring, I suppose, like everybody else.
Absolutely. I mean, and here is I've often recorded interviews in here, and I had Kenneth Branagh on the other day, and Ken was brilliant because. Of course, we all, what a great actor he is, and he was at the opening of the Voice there, and you saw his face there at the start of the finale. And he came on and and he chose his all-time Spurs 11, which was just great fun. I think Spurs website are going to put it on there, and it was for this Artemis Fowl movie, which would just come out.
Right.
So there's a guy who is his PR. And he's said, and I said, do you think Ken would come on the show? And you always know things are going to be good when it's going, yeah, absolutely. And then he signed it, very best, Charles PS COYS. And it's it's like the secret tattoo that says, okay, we're in the